What's up, guys? My name is Aaron and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to go into my Western Conference standings predictions. Not gonna lie, this was way harder to make than my Eastern Conference because so many teams got better in the West this season. But let's go ahead and get right into it. At the 15th seed, we have the Sacramento Kings. I honestly think they got worse than they did last year with Cousins leaving. Yes, they drafted De'Aaron Fox, which I think will be a good pickup and a nice young player that we'll see, grow into a hopeful star. I'm kind of upset that they picked up Vince Carter and Zach Randolph because I actually like those two players, and I think that this is a sign that they're going to be at the end of their career. They're both probably going to retire on the Kings, and I think it really could have helped a team that was more so in playoff contention. At the 14th seed, we have the Phoenix Suns. They have a great backcourt in Eric Bledsoe and Young Bean and Devin Booker. Even Brandon Knight off the bench, Josh Jackson picking up in the draft this year. So they're a nice young team that maybe be good in a couple of years, but it's just not their time yet. They should, hopefully get some more draft picks this season. At the 13th seed, we have the Dallas Mavericks. Dirk's getting older. There's not much on that team still. I like that the Mavericks, did sign him for another 2 years just to kind of pay him that respect. As long as Dirk wants to play, the Mavericks will still sign him. I do think this is, when this contract is over, Dirk probably will retire and then he can go into full rebuilding mode, trying to find a new superstar to build around. At the 12th seed, I have the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, this is a team that I'm trying to not feed into the hype of Lonzo Ball, the hype of all these nice, young, talented players they have. But on paper, they do have some nice, young, talented players. I think the addition of Luol Deng is good for that team. You got a player who has had a really great career and really be able to tell those young guys how to be professional in the league. Give those guys a couple of years, and they could be what the Timberwolves are today. Because, 3-4 years ago, this is kind of what the Timberwolves looked like. You got to have a bunch of young studs who were, on the up and up. At the 11th seed, I have the Utah Jazz. I think with Gordon Hayward leaving, that's a lot going from that team. I mean, no, he wasn't the whole team, and yes, they went from a playoff team to now outside the playoffs. I realize that. But, I mean, he was a lot of that team. He was the grit and grind of that team. You still got Rudy Gobert, but he's mostly defense. Joe Johnson, he still can be ISO Joe from time to time, but he's not the ISO Joe he was back in the day. So I don't see them doing that much. But they're not as bad as some of the other teams I've already listed. Coming at number 10, I got the Los Angeles Clippers. I don't see them doing that well this year. I mean, Chris Paul's gone, Jamal Crawford's gone, and JJ Redick's gone. That's so much of your offense just gone. Your starting backcourt's gone, and the best player off your bench is now gone. Yes, you still got Blake and DeAndre, and I think Blake's still going to ball out. I still like Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, but they're not enough to make that team to the playoffs this year in the West. They picked up Patrick Beverly. He's a good guard, but, I mean, yes, he was first team all defense, but they just don't got enough, in my opinion, to make the playoffs, and it sucks because the Clippers were that team that were right there. They were one piece away for so many years, and I think their window is shut now. Coming in the 9th seed, we have the Denver Nuggets. Now, this is not saying they can't sneak into that 7th or 8th seed because they definitely can, but I really like the core they have there with Mudiay, Fareed, Jokic. I really like the addition of Paul Millsap. I think he's, a veteran that still gives you some good production that really can teach Jokic some of the ropes. I think it'll be an interesting team to watch. Like I said, they could sneak in to that 7th or 8th seed and surprise some people in the West this year. Coming in number 8, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. This is the team that I've always enjoyed watching, the grit and grind that they bring. You got probably the most underrated player, at least the most underrated point guard in the league, Mike Conley, highly underrated big man in Marc Gasol. They're just a team who's always kind of in the mix. No matter if they're, the 1st seed or the 8th seed, they always get that first. Whoever they play in the first round always has a tough time of beating them. So even if they go against the Warriors in that first round, I think it'll still be a fun series to watch come playoff season. The 7th seed, we have the Portland Trail Blazers. They have one of the best backcourts in the league. With CJ McCollum and Dame. I mean, you don't really need much else. Between them two, they're definitely going to be 7th seed. But they need some depth. They need some other players to help them. When they lost LaMarcus Aldridge a couple years ago, it's kind of been downhill since then for them. They need another piece to kind of help them move forward. At number 6, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. I love the addition of Rondo on this team. I said this in one of my past videos that I think Rondo, Cousins, and Anthony Davis is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I still think they need a couple of shooters on that team. They need to be able to spread the floor, let them bigs go to work. Rondo is not a shooter. We all know this. You can kind of leave him open and he gonna miss. But they will be excited to watch. That pick and roll game is going to be something fierce. I know not a lot of people say they run the pick and rolls in the league, but people still run pick and rolls in the league. Watch the Warriors play. That's all they do. This team is going to be nice to watch. At the 5th seed, now this one was hard, but I got the Minnesota Timberwolves. I've talked about them a ton in my my winners and losers video. this team's nice. You know, they got a lot of good additions this offseason. They got a nice, solid core. As long as the new pieces can gel with, you know, with Wiggins, with Towns, I think they'll be great. And the new pieces they have, they're not big ego pieces. They're teammates who can play well together. So they're definitely going to be fifth. They're going to probably be a second-round team in the playoffs. And it's going to be exciting to see them ball this year. At the fourth seed, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, my winners and losers video, when I first made it, Carmelo didn't get traded to the Thunder yet. With Melo being traded to the Thunder, I'm pretty sure that's going to make them fourth seed at least, which kind of solidifies in my heart that all three of those pieces will stay there. I know Paul George, you know, everybody's saying he wanted to go to LA, but, you know, he sent out a statement saying it was kind of overhyped with how much he wants to play in LA. He's saying he feels like his family there, championship caliber team there. That's what he's been saying the last couple of days. As long as those three can play well together, share the ball, Russ doesn't try to have the triple-double season he had last year. He can't play like that this year. They're going to be a nice team to watch. They lack depth, though. They have no depth. They made some great trades to get, you know, Paul George and Melo, but they got rid of a lot of depth in the process. So if they can pick up a couple more pieces before the season starts, they don't have that much money. They were trying to get D-Wade, but it looks like he's going to Cleveland. If they can pick a couple more pieces up and get some solid depth, they might be solid contention for the, you know, dethroning the Warriors. Might. It's a big might. But hey, I'll take it. The third seed, I have the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, what can you say about the Spurs? They don't really do much. They don't change a lot in the offseason from season to season, but somehow they stay relevant. They stay great. They picked up Rudy Gay this year, and a lot of people think Rudy Gay's washed up, but when you got Popovich coaching you, and, you know, somehow he revitalizes careers and helps old people play way longer than they should, Rudy Gay might be a great, you know, addition off their bench for them, considering the fact that Manu's getting a little bit older. Manu and Rudy Gay off the bench is going to be a nice sight. Kawhi is still, in my opinion, one top 5 player in the league. And I think, you know, they got a nice squad this year. They need, in my opinion, they need a better point guard. Tony Parker's getting a little bit long in the tooth. It'd be nice to see them get a nice young point guard to come and, you know, lead that team. I would have liked to see Rondo go there, but that was just me. But I think they're still good enough to be third in the West. At the 2 seed, I had the Houston Rockets. In my opinion, and I said this before, I was thinking this before, you know, Melo got moved to the OKC, because now it's got to see what the lineup's going to be, if Paul George is going to play the 2 or not. But regardless of all of that, in my opinion, the Rockets have the best backcourt in the league. With James Harden and Chris Paul. Chris Paul's first team all defense. He's a Hall of Famer. In my opinion, still top 5 point guard in the league. James Harden is definitely probably the best shooting guard in the league. So, but them two playing in the backcourt, and all the shooters that they have around him, they're definitely going to be number 2 in the West. It'd be nice to see them have a big man that can, you know, defend the paint a little bit better and clog up the middle a little bit for him. But I mean, they're going to live and die by the 3. But they got a lot of people who can really make the 3. They're not going to die that much by it. Everybody on that team can shoot. So it's really going to be exciting to see them play this year. Coming in at number 1, you probably guessed it, the Golden State Warriors. You know, going into this offseason in my head, I was like, there's no way the Warriors are going to get better. They just won a championship. They got the best team on paper in the league. And then they go pick up Nick Young. And I'm just like, most people don't think that's that big. But when you add a player like Nick Young who can come off the bench, catch and shoot, create his own shot a little bit, that just adds more depth to a team that was already pretty deep. The Warriors are still scary. It's a couple of teams that have a chance of beating them. I talked about the Thunder. We talked about the Cavs, and, you know, because the Cavs made some moves. They picked up Dwayne Wade. Allegedly. It's not on paper yet, but it looks like Dwayne Wade's going there. But I think the Warriors are definitely still a team to beat this year. And if I got to go on record to say it, I probably got as of right now, before seeing all these teams play, I got the Warriors still winning the championship this year. I got to repeat it, because I just don't see anybody beating them yet. Well, there you have it, guys. That's my Western Conference standing predictions. If you think I got some teams out of place, let me know down in the comments. And I'll see you next Thursday. I'm out. Peace.